7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And welcome. Greetings all. It's season 4 of IFB Interfleet Broadcasting. I'm New York Pete. This is my best friend, Chris the Tipsy Toaster. I want to thank you for tuning in. And welcome to our news and pop culture sci-fi entertainment channel. Full disclosure, Chris and I grew up watching 70s and 80s TV movies, comics, cartoons, and fanzines. And we are huge BSG fans. So welcome to our corner of the universe, everybody. We have a great guest tonight. And we have the Tiny Bean is going to come on, and she's going to bring us up to speed with a bunch of stuff. So where's Tiny Bean?
She's here.
Okay, cool. Chris, what are you drinking? Because we're gonna toast.
That's John 1 though. I gotta fix that.
Okay, well,
there we go.
All right. Well, we're actually getting ready for our famous toast, not infamous, but famous little toast that we like to do. And so let me put out some welcomes. AJ Paul, thank you for joining. It's been a while, buddy. I hope all is well. I know that finals was this week, so I hope you did really well. And let's see, Paul is here, Commander Kane, and Lola's here, and Bert Oliver. So, Bert, get ready, man, because, hey, Tipsy, I offered Bert Oliver a slot for stand-in co-host as needed, and Bert is on the list. He says he'll fill in as we need, so we'll just give him a advance notice, and we can have another award-winning author come on. And he was on a panel. I'd love to find all about that. He was on a writer's panel and did a whole bunch of stuff. It's on his website. He had a really cool picture of being on there and doing that. So good for you, Bert. Thank you very much for stepping up. And Karen's with us. Sean Shallow from Battlestar Bulletin Board is here with us. Of course, Lola and Charlene from Battlestar Saturn. And hey, Rob Baum. All right, cool. Unofficial fact checker. Professor Eric Padden is with us. Very cool that you're with us, Professor. Love having you on board. George G is in the house. Thank you for joining us. Clay Arden. Who am I missing?
Superfan Fran.
Superfan Fran.
Kim.
Who else?
Yep.
Yes, Kim. And I believe there's somebody here, Clay Arden. Hey, Clay, thanks for joining us. You guys know what to do as you come on, right?
Yeah.
Just put up a little hi so we can recognize you on air. Appreciate it. Oh, we're doing trivia. So after the interview, we're going to be doing some Airwolf. We're going to get into the Airwolf series. That's right. So we're going to do a little bit of trivia.
You can't say Airwolf without thinking the theme. Sorry.
Oh, absolutely, 100%.
It happens.
Really, really cool stuff.
One of those. Oh,
so,
yeah. Who wrote the theme?
Oh. Hint, hint, hint. All right, cool. So, Tipsy Toaster, what if anything are you imbibing tonight?
Not much. I just wanted to reach out and say hello to everybody. I really, what would the Airwolf fan be called? So I know we have runners, we have slee stacks, we have all of the, that's a, what?
I don't know, man. That's a good one.
Airwolfians.
How about Airwolves?
Airwolves. Yeah, that works.
Airwolves. Yeah. That's cool, right?
All those Airwolves fans, runners, seekers of, what is it? I can't remember the
so you got it. Logan's Run.
Logan's
Runners,
Run thing,
right?
Yeah, runners.
Yeah. That's right. Trekkies, Galacticans, Capricans.
Yeah. We came up with
Airwolf
a Galacticans.
Pack. Yeah. Airwolf Pack.
There you go. I like that one.
Yeah. Oh, what? Fran and Rob bust out the composer of the theme. Oh my God. All right. So let's hold on, because we're gonna be doing it.
Yep.
So yeah, Bert says, back at last, finally a show I can catch live. Well, thanks for tuning in, Bert. I think we got a good show. So let's actually toast.
All right.
I'm drinking. Look, I'm drinking. I bust out my
Ooh, the heck is that thing?
Strongbow.
You gonna
glass.
fill that up?
Yep.
You're gonna fill that all the way up.
I'm gonna fill it up. I got this. This is from my last trip to London, right? And this is not the first time I had it on the show, but
right. But you're gonna drink the whole thing?
I have Strongbow.
Let's see what it is. What's the percentage? What, like 3%?
It is 5.
Ooh.
5, dude. Yes. This alcohol is an adult beverage.
That's right. It's finally an adult beverage for you.
Yes, because you like the 10 and above percent.
Yeah, those are
10% good. Above, that's the best for you.
And it has to be dark oil.
What do you got? Yes. What do you
got? Well, in relation to Airwolf, I have a one we call they call a war wagon. So
what?
So I figured we could do Airwolf, war wagon. That kind of matched up. Old Ox Brewery. This is a Kolsch, product of Virginia, 5.3%. And
ooh,
wow, yeah, not much, but
not much.
Old Ox Brewery. So I figured war wagon, Airwolf kind of went together. We'll see how it goes.
Cool. All right. Well, let's go. You ready?
Yep. Uno.
1, 2, 3. Nice.
I've been waiting all week to hear that.
All right, let's do it.
And I have my Shenandoah National Park.
Official. That's all like official, man.
Let's see what this looks like. It's probably very clear.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Very, very clear.
Our buddy Chris McCauley has been working hard, putting out PlayStation 2 games and on the net for everybody to play and all kinds of stuff with the Snokeverse. So we're going to have him back to give us a update. He's got a lot of things going on, man. All good stuff.
Pretty clear, a little cloudy. That's about the same as yours. Actually, yours is clearer, I think.
I think so.
I'm
going to fill it up. You want me to fill it up? I'm going to fill it up.
Go for it.
I'm going to fill it up right to the top, okay? Oh, boy. Whew. This is a hell of a
He's going to be drunk by the time we start the end of the night.
I will be.
He'll be babbling up a storm.
Yeah. Okay, so there you go.
Right.
Proof positive. Boom, boom, boom. There we go. Set
all the apple juice he put into it below that you didn't see.
That's not that's a Cylon thing. I wouldn't do that.
Anyways, thank you for joining us. We always have a toast to the fans every week. We like to appreciate the fans out there that create the universes, the faniverses, the fandoms, the people who create books, people who create art and everything. Everybody who shares that with other people is amazing. Keep doing what you do because fans fuel the fleet, and this is for you. Fans fuel the fleet.
And there you go, guys. Fans fuel the fleet. Thanks for joining us. This is good. Really good stuff.
Definitely Kolsch. It's a Kolsch.
Oh, yes. This is good.
Kind of a bite to it. Not bad.
All right. That's a shot glass, Chris. That's what John just said. John 1, our very own.
Not a shot glass. It's my rum glass. So tiny. I'm going to finish off the beer and then I'll go to the rum.
Oh, okay. There you go. I have enough to last me for the show. There we go.
Whatever.
Don't be dismissive.
Not all of us can drink as much as you can.
As you.
The tipsy.
All right. So, the Tipsy Toaster. Okay, so we don't forget.
It is a whiskey glass. It is a whiskey glass.
It is a whiskey. Come on.
And the great thing about it is freaking thick. Oh, it holds a really good ice cubes.
So
I get one of the big ice. I don't let it water down too much. So I have this big ice cube thing that goes inside that doesn't water it down. And,
Oh, is it the Death Star ice cube?
Kinda. Yeah.
Okay. So don't forget that we're gonna bring on. I do not ingest consumables. Okay, Clay.
I do not ingest consumables. I'll have to get that one off there.
Are
And I
you?
have the other
Are
ones.
you? You better get the theme ready for Tiny Bean Tara.
Yes, I gotta get that. Where it is. There it
Okay,
is. Ready?
you got it. Yeah, go.
I can't remember which one it is. I think it's this one.
Oh boy,
We'll find out.
you should put up the slide and then put the song on before you bring it up.
In the land of the silver screen, there's a gal named Tiny Bean Tara. She's got sass and style, a true TV and movie critique in style. Oh yeah, she struts down the red carpet with her witty reviews in hand. Everyone in Hollywood knows she's got the sharpest mind in the land. She sits in the dark popcorn by her side, ready to take on any show. From black and white classics to modern rom-coms, she's seen them all, you know. Her words are like music in perfect sync with every performance she sees. She captures the essence, the magic of each scene with her elegant expertise. Tiny Bean Tara, the queen of the silver screen. Her reviews are witty, but her opinions pristine. With every critique, she sets the world ablaze. Tiny Bean Tara, the darling of Hollywood's craze.
Bam.
Yay! Hey Tara, what's up?
Oh, I just love that. I want that to come on every time I walk into a room. Excuse me, guys. I gotta hit play.
We gotta
Excuse me,
get you.
I have a
so you can
team.
put on your phone. Yeah, we gotta
Right?
get it for your phone. Yep. Oh my God, how are you?
I'm good, guys. How's it going?
It is going. It's going well. I hope you saw that our numbers are really, really doing well. We've had
Yeah.
a very, a lot of success here with our shows. We do really well in rerun, right? In
Yeah.
syndication. So I mean, we're talking in the tens of thousands for
Amazing.
yeah, just really cool stuff. So I'm glad that you're here. I'm glad that you made it, and
Yeah.
I got to see I got advanced screening of your deck. So there's some cool
Ooh.
stuff, and I'm watching a Korean series called The Glory. It's
Oh,
a
yeah.
revenge series, and
Mm.
I'm binging it now. I got caught up in one, and I'm like, I can't stop. It's
Ah!
Is is the audio track in English, or is it just
it's dubbed. I'm watching the
dubbed?
dubbed one, and it's good enough. Yeah, it's good. So yeah, I don't know. Let's see what Tiny Bean. What do you got? What do you got for us?
That sounds like fun. Well, I got a lot of good stuff tonight. Lots of news and previews tonight, guys. So if y'all are
Cool.
ready to jump in, I will dive right in. Here we go. So hello, IFB. Great to be here as always. Welcome to Tiny Bean's Corner, where we discuss new, old, and otherwise interesting things for the fleet's viewing enjoyment. This week is all about new and up and coming goodies. So let's jump right in. Now, Three Body Problem was an epic sci-fi series that we followed here in the corner this spring, and it got a lot of good reviews and buzz. But of course, being Netflix, news of another season was not exactly forthcoming. Well, the wait is over, friends. Netflix has confirmed there will officially be two more seasons. So they are jumping right back in, getting on track to start filming, and with any luck, we may even see season two by the end of next year. So can't
Wow,
wait
that's a
for
fast
that one.
turnaround.
Yeah,
Yeah.
seriously, that's what I'm really hoping. Give me time to finish the rest of the books in the series because the
I,
books were
I
excellent.
haven't got to watch it at all yet, so I'm still trying to catch up with Fallout.
Oh
Oh
come on,
yeah,
Fallout's good.
Fallout, so good, so good. Yeah, there's so much. There's only so many hours in the day and so much to catch up on. But hey, guys, just around the corner, June 27th, Hulu's The Bear will be back for a third season. This one is one of the best reviewed series on television, gang. And if you are not watching yet, trust me and give it a go. This show swept the Emmys last year for Outstanding Comedy, and it was absolutely no surprise. Starring Jeremy Allen White of Shameless Fan, Ayo Edebiri, and Eben Moss-Bacharach, this show is full of heart in all the best ways. You will laugh and you will cry too. Cameos abound. Even Jamie Lee Curtis shows up in one of the best heart-wrenching guest spots. And if you've ever worked in food service, it is the most spot-on recreation of the experience. And here's some cool news. Breakout star Eben Moss-Bacharach, who plays everyone's favorite scene-stealing character Richie, has been tapped to play the new Ben Grimm, aka The Thing, in the up-and-coming Fantastic Four. So, check this series out, guys. You won't be disappointed. Season 3 starts on Hulu on the 27th. Now, in the realm of horror and scary things, rarely does a film come out that instantly gets spectacular reviews. It is almost unheard of to see a horror film get a perfect score on Rotten Tomatoes. So when one does, I sit up and take notice. Longlegs is that film. Starring the great Nicolas Cage, being called unrecognizable here, and the trailer, it's one of the scariest I have seen in a long time. It has a very Silence of the Lambs vibe, and it's about a young female FBI agent played by Scream Queen Maika Monroe on the trail of a serial killer. Sound familiar? So, test audiences joined the universal chorus of astounding reviews. So this one may indeed be the one that horror fans have been waiting for. Check out that trailer, guys. Longlegs will hit theaters on July 12th. Next up, from the man whose name is synonymous with horror, Stephen King, comes a film that is actually not horror. Some of King's best works have been his more fantastical and less scary stuff. Perfect example being The Shawshank Redemption. The Life of Chuck is based on a King short story of the same name, and it is being billed as a fantasy sci-fi, life-affirming and genre-bending story. What makes this even more of a must-see is that it was directed by Mike Flanagan, the director who brought us The Haunting of Hill House, The Haunting of Bly Manor, and Fall of the House of Usher, right? He also adapted Stephen King's Dr. Sleep, the sequel to The Shining. He did a spectacular job with that. So, in true Flanagan style, he has assembled a cast of notables here, including Tom Hiddleston as Chuck, Karen Gillan, Mia Sara, Matthew Lillard, and the one and only Mark Hamill.
Wow.
It's in post-production now, yeah. So, eagerly awaiting news on a release date. I have a feeling this will truly be one not to be missed, guys. And hey, remember Stranger Things, that 80s-inspired sci-fi thriller series that debuted in 2016 and knocked everyone's socks off? Well, it's been a long time coming, but they are just about to wrap filming on the 5th and final season. The kids are basically all grown up in real life, so this should be interesting. But I am dying to see how they wrap things up with the evil Vecna, the Upside Down world, Hooper, 11, Mike, all the rest of the kids. Season 4 ended on quite a cliffhanger, and to pull all these loose threads together, I imagine it'll be quite an epic ride. And we can expect this final season to hit Netflix in early 2025. And now, time for some nostalgia. We like our nostalgia here on IFB. 2 epic documentaries hit streaming today that I think the fleet of a certain age will be super excited to see. Let's start with the legend that is Gene Wilder. Now, I cannot remember a time when I didn't know who Gene Wilder was, even as a very little kid. I mean, he's Willy Wonka, right? and
Yeah.
the star of like my favorite comedy probably ever, Mel Brooks' Young Frankenstein. I mean, not to mention the producers, Blazing Saddles. The list just goes on and on. Well,
What was the one he
today
was?
dropped. Hmm?
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. No.
I was
Today dropped the documentary Remembering
cool.
Gene Wilder. And it is being called an absolutely loving homage to this king of comedy. And his life, both on screen and off, is explored from his youth as Jerome Silberman in Milwaukee to his fortuitous meeting with Anne Bancroft, wife of Mel Brooks, that kicked off his epic film career. This is bound to be a heartwarming watch. I mean, who can think of Gene Wilder and not smile, right? So let's check this out, Fleet. I mean, we all need to smile. Remembering Gene Wilder is available now on Netflix.
I'm gonna watch
And
that
now
one. Yeah.
I can't wait. I'm like so excited for this. And now here's another fun one for you. This one is specifically for my fellow Gen X Fleet members. What do you call Emilio Estevez, Rob Lowe, Ali Sheedy, Demi Moore, Andrew McCarthy? I could go on. Well, we called
Ooh,
them
this
the
is good.
Brat Pack back in the
Yeah.
day, remember?
Oh, yeah.
The infamous stars of such ensemble pieces, most notably St. Elmo's Fire and The Breakfast Club as the standouts. The term Brat Pack was coined by David Blum in a 1985 New York Magazine profile of Emilio Estevez, referring to the hard partying ways and varying degrees of talent and lack of training of certain young Hollywood stars in the 80s who often appeared together on screen. Now, there is a documentary called Brats, and the hook is that it is written and directed by one of them, Andrew McCarthy. And it is getting a huge buzz and fantastic reviews. The Hollywood Reporter says what makes it truly compelling is its willingness to step outside the perspective of these actors and their huge leap to fame and infamy, but to reconsider the phenomenon from a broader social context and from the actors themselves with the wisdom of age. Now, I am all in, guys. This should be a nostalgia extravaganza, and McCarthy got everyone involved here. Well, except Judd Nelson, who McCarthy says is kind of off the grid these days. But it sounds about right for John Bender, doesn't it? Seriously. And Molly Ringwald, because, Claire is just too cool for this sort of thing. So, but this one just hit Hulu. If you want to check it out, any chance to go 80s nostalgia is a good bet in my book. So check it out and let me know what you think. And that is all for the corner tonight. So back to you, Pete.
Yay! I read Brat, an 80s story that McCarthy wrote, the memoir. I read it.
Yeah.
It's excellent. If you haven't read it,
Awesome.
it's definitely worth it. Especially since we grew up. We make a big deal about the fact that we grew up in the 70s and 80s. So to be technical about this, because I want to make sure that I pay respect to the Tipsy Toaster, I listened to the book.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so
Yeah, that's much better. Yeah.
yeah, so
So I have
I,
big
yeah, get the audio book. So I did, and it was a lot of fun. He makes you feel like you're a part of the team there, and you're listening to him, tell you his inside and out, and he shares. He's very honest about the whole way he got included, because he was not in the middle of the storm. He was kind of like more or less almost on the outside of it. He was in for a ride, and he was there when it was all happening with the magic and all. And it's really good. I'm looking forward to it. So thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah, sure. I've heard that there's a lot of fun interviews. A lot of them we're really excited to jump in and join in and be a part of this. So it's great. I mean, we grew up with these guys. This is our age group. So to see where they are now and what they have to say about it is going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, the Gene Wilder one. I was
really
trying to think of it. Is it what he plays deaf and Richard Pryor plays blind?
See no evil, hear no evil.
Is that what it is?
Right? I think I'm pretty sure.
Is that what it is?
Rob Bound, am I right? Please tell me.
That was amazing.
Oh
That and Silver Streak
Hysterical.
was another one, I think.
Yes.
Silver Streak.
We were just talking the other day about the Frisco Kid with
Oh, yeah.
Harrison Ford. I mean, come on.
Oh my God.
All good stuff.
Yeah, it's like you just
Oh,
you just hear the name Gene Wilder and think Gene Wilder, and you
And you
instantly
can instantly
smile.
know
Like, defy
at least 3 or
anybody.
4 of his movies.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Willy Wonka, of course, is the first one that pops into your head. It's like that weird Willy
Oh, yeah.
Wonka. Yeah, it's a good one. It
The
really
Blazing
is.
Saddles is the first one that pops in my head.
Oh yeah, Blazing Saddles, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I can't. You know, you could probably walk up to half the people that I know at our age bracket and go, you know, quote
yeah.
something from Blazing Saddles, you know, and it's easy, you know.
For sure.
You know.
Oh my gosh! And
Cleavon Little and
Frankenstein, I mean,
yeah.
come on. Oh, yeah.
Yep. And it's like,
I'm almost not allowed to watch Young Frankenstein anymore because I can narrate it verbatim.
Oh,
I'm that way with Blazing Saddles. Yeah,
Excellent.
That's like,
excellent.
it's like, yeah, see this? Yeah.
Yep.
Steady as a rock. Yep. But I shoot with this hand.
Ah! Oh my God! And Madeline Kahn, come on.
Oh my gosh.
These are the great. You know,
Sick
it's
and
a
tired
shame.
of love.
You know, it's a shame that there's a whole generation out there right now that
We'll
don't
probably never
know.
see that movie because they would be very offended.
Well, no, but there's
Yeah,
other stuff
there's
that's
that.
you know really equally good.
Yes.
You know that's been done right, whether it be Willy Wonka the original or some of the other movies, including the series and the stuff that we grew up watching. You know, even the '80s Brat Pack stuff that they don't know anything about, and it's a crying shame. Even in those that are studying film and TV are so caught up in what's out there now. You know, talk about bubbles. And you know they're into the the anime and the current
like
big
you can't
time
go to, I
sci-fi
can't,
that's
going
out
to
there.
Comic-Con now is not even.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah,
yes.
right?
Speaking of
Yeah.
Comic-Con, New York Comic-Con was selling tickets. They were selling advanced tickets. Don't know how well they did. I didn't check up. And conventions. Unfortunately, Tiny Bean, you are pretty far away from us. But on the 20th of July, we will be at the Long Island Minicon, courtesy of the Empire City Garrison. We have a table. Tipsy Toaster looks like he'll be there with me and
Possibly,
John One.
yeah.
Yep. And hopefully Dorian, award-winning sci-fi author, good friend of ours, is also tentatively going to be there. And we're donating a piece for the auction. And Chris, I sent it to you late.
Yeah, hang on. I got it here.
All right, cool. So we have a piece that we're putting up. There it is. It's
Oh, cool.
yeah, it's G.I. Joe big. It's really
Classic.
big. So that's
My
from
God.
my personal collection. I'm taking it. I'm donating it for the cerebral palsy that is the charity behind the convention. So I'm bringing that along. I'm going to give that up so that they can raffle that off and hopefully raise some money. And yeah, so it's going to be a lot of fun. But looking forward to some kind of northernmost convention. You know, Tiny Bean, you're probably even close enough to go to a Canadian convention.
Oh, yeah, I am like about an hour and 20, 30 minutes from Montreal. So, yeah, and I'm
there's a good
pretty
con
sure
up
they
there in
do
Montreal.
something.
Yeah.
And I
all
know
right.
there is some kind of Comic-Con that hits the Ticonderoga area.
Ooh.
And I know
It does,
Shatner
yeah.
has actually been there, so yeah.
So let's keep the let's stay on top of that. And the worst case scenario would be that we applied for media passes, and maybe if you weren't working, you'd go over there and do a little, maybe some interviews or something. It'd be kind of cool.
Just say a lot
I'd
of,
love it.
hey,
That'd be incredible.
what do you think of this con, eh? It's a great con, eh?
Well,
That's right.
Tiny
Culture
Bean.
appropriation. I've got it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
thank you
I get
for
all my
doing what you
Canadians
do.
speak from Strange Brew.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was gonna say it sounds a little strange brew to me, but all right.
Poser.
Yeah, all right.
Amazing.
So thank you for bringing us up to speed, Tiny Bean, and we
Yeah.
will we're gonna have you back probably, we'll see, hopefully in another two rotations you'll be back on, and we'll
Yeah.
discuss a little bit of I'll have at least another show to talk about with you, and then you'll have another update, and we'll see where we're at, and you
And
need to
maybe I'll
bring us
finish
up to
Fallout by
speed.
then.
Yeah, hopefully. Um, Tiny Bean, you've been up to stuff. You've been doing things with the Performing Arts Center
Mhm.
up in the northern ways, up
Yeah.
around Lake Placid, and you need to keep us posted because I know you're doing great things.
I will. Thank you so much. All right, guys. Well, absolute pleasure to be here as always. Love to the fleet. You guys enjoy the rest of the night. I'll be watching.
Thank
Dance
you.
Feel the Fleet, guys.
Here's to you, Tara.
See you soon.
Excellent. All right, cool. So we get all that cool insight on things that it's impossible to watch everything, Chris. Right? You need to have someone that's kind of telling us what's going on, because I pretty much had almost
I can't
missed
watch it all because I
that
have a
stuff.
job.
Well, you have downtime, and in between your downtime, you should be just
I don't know
binge
where my
watching.
I don't know where my downtime went. I have to take days off to get things done now.
Yeah, you know what? You got to find time, man. You got to find the time.
But
That's what I'm telling. That's what I'm saying.
I've done this to
Find it.
myself because I split myself in a very hard class. So
Yes. Well,
that's why.
but
I
that's
don't have
only
any
for
time.
now. That's for now. You're doing the Unreal Engine
Yeah.
masterclass, and you're learning a lot of stuff. And that's only for now, right? I mean,
Right.
it's gonna come to an end. You're about, I think, halfway, if not a little bit
Yeah,
more.
almost there.
And then you're gonna be doing another great class on
I'll
Adobe
be going to New York after
yeah,
Effects.
After Effects. Yeah. So that's awesome. And so that kind of, before we bring in our guest, so we are working very, very hard. We have a timetable now, a really good one for the Stranded Warrior, with the new skills that we have and the support of our CG team, led by Chuck Davenport and Chris Marshall and all the rest. So we're now, we're tackling things a little bit differently, but it's coming along really, really well. The other project that we have, of course, is the Tower Protocol Resurrection. And if you guys have been paying attention, none other than Dr. Chris McCauley is now a co-executive producer on the Tower Protocol Resurrection project and film. It's a short that we're moving forward quickly with that as well. So we have two projects that
What about
are moving.
Did we mention
They're moving.
Did we mention the other thing too?
Go ahead. Yes.
Trivia book.
Yeah, though, for those of you. Oh, by the way, for those of you that watched our interview with the last one we did, was only 2 shows ago. Dr. Chris McCauley dropped in for only about a half hour, and that's been watched by almost 15,000 views on it. Thank you, everybody.
Wow.
A lot of you watch this in rerun, like not live, but later when
What's
you have time.
wrong with you
So,
people?
thank you very, very much for watching it nonetheless. And that's when Dr. Chris McCauley announced that his publisher will be doing an unauthorized and unofficial IFB, in conjunction with IFB. We're going to be doing a trivia book on Battlestar Galactica, and it's going to cover the classic as well as the reboot and 1980 and Caprica and a whole bunch of, all of it. We're going to have some
Caprica was
crossword puzzles and word search and just
amazing.
cool trivia. So that's all part of what's coming. So thank you again to Chris McCauley for joining us and joining the team here, and vice versa, and joining his elaborate and great things that he's up to. So
Empire.
thank you. Empire building, yes. Thank you. So franchise building. Thank you very, very much, guys, and all of you that watch. Thanks very much. Right. So in the last like 5 shows or I think 5 shows, one has hit like almost 15, and the other one is over 12,000 views separately. So that's a lot of views.
All I can think of is just like we're in this roller coaster car and we're gripping onto the thing and it's just going up this hill.
Yeah, it's just, it really is.
And
it really is.
Just gonna go.
It's humbling to see, the interest in sci-fi and the things that we're into, and we love it, and we're very, very grateful. I'm hoping that I can very, very quickly. Yep, there we go. 14,300 views, and another at 15,900. That's within the last few shows that we had, not including our IFB exclusive. We've also talked about IFB Presents. That's going to be another spinoff that Tipsy Toaster and I will be hosting. It'll be a short as well, and so that's coming up in the near future. John One has been doing a great job in getting us all kinds of fantastic guests.
And I think Joshua Dalzell wants to come back, right?
Yes, he wants to come back. Yeah, he's
one of my favorite.
He wants a revenge match here. He says that
yes.
He feels like he let the fans down. I don't know why. We had a tremendous interview, and he's going to come back. He wants to come back, wants to talk more. So we will have him back, and he's a bestseller. So that's really cool. And so now we have another unique.
But speaking of authors,
sci-fi author. Yes, John J. Spearman, Jake to his friends. He's. It's quite unique. I read his background. We're going to get into it with him here, but he's written a slew of books, sci-fi, and it's really cool. I've been looking at the covers, looking at some of the synopsis on these things. We're going to get into it, right? Our typical questions on the world building and, all that good stuff. Talk to him about, his fandom and his experience. I think we may be able to give him some insight on conventions. Everybody knows that I went to my first in 77, and I've been going to conventions since then. And the Tipsy Toaster is also no stranger to conventions. And you guys, we've met a lot of our fans and supporters and friends now at various conventions, including Dragon Con. So without further ado, I think Chris has, if we're ready, John J. Spearman, Jake to his friends. Jake, welcome to Interfleet Broadcasting. Thank you for taking the time out. Welcome.
Avete classis. That's Latin for hail, fleet.
There we go. Thank you, sir. And it's interesting
Great to
that
be
you
here,
said
guys.
it.
Thank you.
Well, yes, thank you. So obviously, since you mentioned the Latin, you had a career change, and you ended up going into academia, getting your master's degree in Latin in, I think, a year. Did I read that correctly? Which is
correct.
Just boggles the mind, because that's not how it's done. I have my master's too, and it took me almost 10 years, and that's quite the story. But 1 year is phenomenal, sir. And you're teaching Latin, and you're writing. So tell us a little bit more about yourself, and then let's get into the writing.
Sure. I spent 25 years in the corporate world in sales and marketing. And came home from yet another business trip, and my wife met me in the back hall, and she gave me the finger wag.
No.
and said, "We have to talk." And anybody who's gotten the finger wag and the "we have to talk" knows, one, you're not going to get to do much talking, and two, it's probably not a subject that you would choose. but basically her message was, you better figure out what you want to be when you grow up, because this isn't it. And I was 46 at the time. So we did a lot of soul searching. I was very successful, but I was absolutely miserable. And I finally admitted I'd always had this dream that I would end up teaching at a boarding school someday, probably when I got into my 60s. And she decided that we were going to advance the calendar on that. So I walked away. I walked away from corporate America and went back and got my master's in a year, crammed it in, and absolutely loved it. And then started teaching at a small all-boys boarding school in New Hampshire called Cardigan Mountain School. I was there for 3 years. And then I'm at an all-boys boarding school in Connecticut, Avon Old Farm School. So hockey fans would know that school probably through that connection. How the writing started, well, my wife is very distressed that I have summers off and I don't seem to do much. And she wanted me to get a hobby. And one day I had finished reading a really rather mediocre science fiction novel by someone who actually has a name. I'm not going to call it out, but I threw it onto the table and I said, what a bunch of crap. I could do as good as this clown. And my wife looked me in the eye and said, prove it.
Nice.
All right, I will. So that's how it started. And I knew absolutely nothing about the publishing business or anything, but I thought I knew how to write, and I had a story I wanted to tell. And I wanted to tell a story like the ones that I loved as a boy, like the Horatio Hornblower stories, if those ring a bell.
Sure.
And the problem with writing historical fiction is there are people out there in the world who would say, well, your character couldn't have been at this battle because I have the complete list here of every. And so that threw historical fiction out. I said, well, fine, I'll set it in the future. I'll make up my own history. And that's how the first book started, Gallantry in Action. And I threw it out there. I had a friend who created a pencil drawing from my description of what the main character looked like. And I'll admit that the cover was not very good. And I edited, but you need to always hire an outside editor because there are things that slip through. But somehow I found some fans out there and some people that really liked it. And their positive comments gave me enough juice that I said, okay, I'll keep going. And that became the series of books, the Halberd series. And I learned a lot from doing that. You're pulling those up. There we go. So those are not the original covers.
Okay.
Those are not the original covers. When I started making money doing this, I said, okay, time to go back and get some better covers done and get these books edited. So that was the first series of books. And in some ways, those characters and that storyline, well, they're near and dear to my heart. My second series, the Sandy Pike series, started from all the lessons I learned from the Halberd series, Sandy Pike.
There we go.
There you go. So from all the mistakes I made in writing the Halberd books and publishing them the first time out, I went and got a cover designer. I hired an editor and threw it out there. And the sales of these books really, really took off. And I basically took the money from that and plowed it right back into fixing up the Halberd books. But interestingly enough, I was in the midst of writing the third book in the series, and I got stuck. And, this happens to writers. And a fellow writer described it really, really well to me. He said, my characters sometimes just don't want to talk to me.
Oh wow.
That's a good way to put it.
And the characters in the Pike story just really didn't have anything to say. So I still had the desire to write something. And I thought of some of the other books that I loved as a kid, and those were by Alexander Dumas, the French writer who wrote The Three Musketeers.
Yes.
And those became the Fitz-Duncan books.
Ah.
So,
Interesting.
yeah. And, if you're of a certain age, not only do you remember The Three Musketeers, but you remember the 1973 movie with Michael York and Richard Chamberlain and Charlton Heston, Raquel Welch, Faye Dunaway, Oliver Reed. Just a
Absolutely.
awesome. Yeah, so that as much as anything served as the inspiration for Fitz-Duncan, but I wanted to add a bit of magic, a bit of a supernatural element to it. But not so much as, say, J.K. Rowling, where things are flying around. Just a little bit of enhancement to some of the characters' abilities. And those books have, honestly, of all the ones I've written, those have been the easiest for me to write.
Huh.
Wow.
And that series has grown into 8 books published right now, and I'm already working on 9 and 10. In the midst of
Wow.
writing the Fitz-Duncan books, I went back and, of course, finished the 3rd book in the Pike series. And I wanted to go back and revisit the world that I created for the Halberd series, but in sort of not a prequel version, but earlier. And those are the Perseverance Andrews books, 3 of them. The woman on the cover. There we go. And those books are set in the same universe as the Halberd books, but about 350 years earlier. And I chose a female protagonist just because. I've been surrounded by strong, independent, strong-willed, outspoken women my whole life, and it certainly didn't scare me to write one as my main character. And that became a 3-book series. And then that brought me to the attention of Aethon Books. And Aethon asked me to write a new series for them. And the first book in that series, of the Cliff Rawlings series, is coming out in the middle of July. And that's going to be available through Aethon Books on Amazon and everywhere else. So that's sort of where we are.
That's incredible. How long did it take you to do all that?
That's all come in the last 7 years.
That's a lot of work that you put out, and it's incredible.
Well, I love it.
Wow.
I'm a yarn spinner at heart, I guess. My favorite jokes are the Shaggy Dog stories.
Okay.
You know what those are.
Yeah. So
For instance, go ahead.
Well, one thing before we get too far into this, and then we'll circle back. In the beginning, you said you wanted to do a historical fiction. What was the setting that you were toying with?
Well, the Hornblower books, and also the Aubrey Maturin books, the Master and Commander books Patrick O'Brien wrote, are all set during the Napoleonic Wars.
And that's where you were going to go.
That's where I was going to go. Either the Napoleonic Wars or American Revolution.
Wow. Okay. Interesting.
So, Um, I'm you know I'm fortunate enough that I can claim ancestors who fought in the Revolution on the colonial on the good side.
Okay, excellent.
Not on the
So
Cylons, not just the Colonials, huh? I
yeah,
see how
yeah,
that
yeah,
Yeah.
is.
yeah, yeah. No
Uh,
robots here, thank you. Jake,
uh,
so tell us,
so
go back to the Shaggy Dog then, and clue us in.
Oh, a Shaggy Dog story. So there was a king, and he had a jester, and the jester loved to tell puns. And the king got kind of tired of all the puns this jester told, and he threw the jester in the dungeon and sentenced him to hang. And so the jester's sitting down in the cell, and he sees him building the scaffold outside. And oh, the king said, after all, good court jesters are hard to find. He goes up. He sends the herald down with the message, that the jester can go free as long as he promises to never tell another pun ever again. And the herald delivers this message, and the jester says, no news is good news.
Oh.
Oh boy.
I love it.
Oh
I love it.
boy. So you're actually going forward with the series in terms of, like this is never gonna, is there an end to some of these worlds or stories? Would you ever consider wrapping it up, or would you leave them open? What's your particular take on that?
The universe with Perseverance Andrews and Jonah Halberd, uh, that pretty much came to an end.
Okay.
The story with Sandy Pike came to an end. There was an arc, and of course, what ends up happening is things are completely changed. Um, the Fitz-Duncan series, I've still got a couple more books in that, I think, but it too is probably getting close to the end. But that doesn't mean I won't write something similar in the future. And then this new Cliff Rawlings series. Book one is scheduled to publish. Book two is in the publisher's hands, and I'm working on book three now. Looks like there's going to be a book four in that, and then we'll see where it goes from there. So
Jake, would you consider, being that you are somewhat of a subject matter expert in Latin, would you consider then setting up a new series and incorporating the Roman world and your expertise in the whole Latin thing? Is that something that you've actually thought of?
I have, and the problem is that's ground that's been plowed pretty thoroughly, and not necessarily well.
Exactly.
And that's the in science fiction, there's a lot of good science fiction out there, and people have read enough good science fiction that they want to read more science fiction.
Right.
In terms of historical Roman period type stuff, honestly, there's more bad than there is good. And I have a fear that people, are a little bit leery of the genre just because of that.
Well, what about Roman science fiction? Right? What parallel universe, or they get sucked through something in regards to a time portal, and it changes the world, and now the Romans are in charge of the new science fiction
There
world.
are actually a couple of books that just hit.
Oh yeah? Oh wow! I've checked those out.
Yeah. So
cyberpunk Roman soldiers. I got it. We're set. We're gonna make millions.
the one thing that it does give me is, there's nothing new under the sun.
Oh yeah.
Right.
And Cicero said, not to know what happened before you were born is to remain always a child. So the lessons of history, really in terms of politics and political movements and so on, are things that I weave into my books, particularly the science fiction books. It's not just pew pew pew.
Okay.
And I know people like pew pew pew, but for me, I want some political intrigue. I want some romance. I don't necessarily get into a lot of sex. It's sort of, fade to black, the train goes into the tunnel kind of thing. But I get right up to it, and there's obviously strong feelings between the characters. But those are the things I want to create believable characters that people root for.
Cool.
So, again, if you've read any of the Master and Commander books or the Horatio Hornblower books, you're rooting for the main character. He's a good guy. He's not perfect. He's got his flaws and his foibles, but he's a good guy. His intentions are fairly straightforward, and he always tries to do the right thing to the best of his ability. And that's what I'm going for. I'm not out to create literature. I'm just trying to tell a fun story.
And that's okay. And that's great. We need these great stories. So I had presented you with a question before we came on the air, Jake. If you were to pick one of your series, which one would it be to turn into either a movie, right? Motion picture, or possibly a mini series or series for streaming. Which one would it be, if there is one, or maybe there's more? How would you approach that if the opportunity came up?
Well, and when you asked me that I gave you the heavy sigh. As a parent, that you're not allowed to have favorites among all your children.
Right.
But
as an author, you're not allowed to have favorites in your books.
But
and this is a hard one. So, for different reasons, one would be the Fitz-Duncan books.
Ooh.
Because they're just swashbuckling stories with a little bit of magic and some romance in a medieval setting, sort of pre-industrial, pre-gunpowder, in a fictional world. And I think they would translate well to a mini series, sort of, limited series type thing. And I think they'd be fun to watch.
Cool.
I'd also like to see the Halberd books made into something on film. I sent you a trailer.
Yep, we're ready whenever you are.
Well, let's take a look at the trailer and then let's talk.
Which one, Halberd?
Actually,
or
the Halberd one first, but then we
All right.
can watch the Fitz-Duncan one too.
All right, stand by.
Excellent.
When the outcome of the war hinges on the actions of a single ship, who do you want in command?
Sir, sensors show 60 missiles inbound. Time to impact. 2 minutes.
Make sure you're buckled in. This is going to be unpleasant. This is Captain Halberd of the HMS Cumberland. We command you to surrender immediately. It is up to us, Cumberland, to slow or stop the Rhodinians. Thousands of lives in the Hercules and Ares system depend on it.
Captain Halbert, welcome back to the land of the living.
Excellent. I'd pay to see that.
That's just really the first book.
Wow.
So, and you want to talk about Nepo babies? My son made that for me.
Excellent. Well, you did a good job. It's really fun.
Fantastic job.
Well, it's all AI, and some people don't like that, but I don't really care. I think it's pretty awesome.
I think it's pretty amazing.
It is.
Yeah, he's trying to make a living as a video editor, so here's my plug for you, Jazz. But
well done.
Yeah. So again, I think that would lend itself well to some sort of cinematic treatment. But take a look. Let's look at the Fitz-Duncan trailer. I will say it's not as good, but it's not bad.
All right, let's see. Okay, cool. Standing by for second trailer. Excellent. Well,
that was pretty good too, by the way.
No, thank you. I'm going to put in a plug for myself there. In the recently announced Chanticleer 2024 awards, the Halberd series was recognized as a finalist in overall top series, and the Fitz-Duncan series was a category winner in the fantasy category.
Wow.
Well, congratulations, Jay.
Wow.
Very good. Well done. Speaking of awards, we have our very own Dorian Keyes. He's an award-winning sci-fi author as well. He is part of our team. So, Dorian, thanks for tuning in. Mediocre Modeler, who is an award-winning prop maker, has his own show that he does on social media, but he's also a good friend and supporter here at IFB. He's with us as well, and he says, I'd pay to see that too. If you animated, they will come. And thank you for tuning and supporting Mediocre Modeler. I hope I haven't missed anybody. James McCoy, and I don't know who else. I hope I'm catching everybody here. We like to recognize everybody. Scott Good, everybody that comes on. If I see you, I like to mention you. Thank you so much for coming on and talking with us. Of course, John One, our very own. Jake, what the whole convention scene. But before we get into that, let's talk about signing. Do you do book signings, or how do we get books signed by you?
Wow. I've only done one book signing, and it was honestly, it was a bust. But I would love to do more. Um, I've just got to figure out how to get the word out there. Um, this is the hard part of the business that I'm still trying to figure out. Um, I like to think that I'm writing good books um, based on the awards that they've won. I, you know, there are people out there that like them. I'm just struggling to get into mass readership, if you will, um, and that's where a book signing can really help once you're there. I'm afraid I'm not quite there yet, but I'm open to advice.
Well, Jake, one of the things like that we kind of touched upon earlier is the convention scene, and we Tipsy Toaster and I and all of our followers, we see a lot of authors. They cherry pick the conventions that they can go to. And they get the word out. They set up their table, and they have you would play your media. You'd have your films, your trailers up, and your books, and you know it's what a lot of these authors do. I don't know to what degree, but I can tell you that we have actually run into many of the same authors that go from show to show. And they do very well. Obviously, if they've been doing it for years and we run into them back to back in one calendar year, it means that they're obviously bringing in enough that they go to the next one. But I guess, Chris, would you say right out of the gate, like Dragon Con, or would you say something smaller or medium level? Because I mean, Dragon Con is one of the places to be.
Yeah, I think there's so many people at Dragon Con. I mean, maybe start at a medium size close by, so you don't throw so much money at it. But Atlanta's a pretty cheap flight, so that's the great thing about Dragon Con is you can get to Atlanta pretty easy. It's like flying to New York. Um, so that's always the expenses is what's always I mean, and a lot of people. While I can say I really love authors and I love people who put their stories and their visions on paper for others to read, even though, and I always say, even only get one person to read it, or you've made a contribution to a fandom, you've made a contribution to getting your information, your vision on paper that's going to be there after you're gone, whether somebody reads it or not. I always say we always have a shelf life, and it's important that we put some. If you're gonna put your story down, put it down on paper, put it down on something so somebody can read it. Maybe later on, maybe you become the next H.G. Wells in 50 years from now, but nobody knows. But if you don't put it down there, then
And get it out.
there.
Yeah, it's not.
So it's
I
not
would
gonna be there.
say,
So a smaller
yeah.
con.
John, look into
Probably be something to start with, just a local.
Yeah,
Get a fandom built.
I would definitely suggest looking into.
Pete, you like
the-
you like comic books, so this would be.
Yeah.
I could see this as a good intro into a comic.
Oh yeah, but Jake, there's a couple of medium-sized conventions that advertising in their journal is very affordable, and that would be definitely something you should consider. That's something that Chris and I have also considered and toyed with. Not only doing the panels, we end up doing a lot of times we do panels, and sometimes we get tables and booths. And then we put up our stuff. But you're talking about your book and getting your word out. Um, Start out small, but there is affordable advertising, and those the journal or the program, for some of these conventions get into the hands of thousands, and if you have your ad in it, that's definitely. I've seen a lot of books with great covers like some of your covers that are just phenomenal, and a nice little write up. If it's in color, you can't miss it. You're looking at the program, and there it is. There's your book, how to get it, where to get it. Is something you should consider. And like I said, there's some of the medium sized cons where it's very affordable to advertise in, but you have to think about going to some of these just to see, set yourself up, get there, get the word out, and have yourself, that backdrop. And I mean, you're on Amazon. I'm sure you can get your books on Barnes and Noble. Can we do it on your website as well? Is that possible?
The website will bop you over to Amazon.
Okay. Okay.
So, what about the Boston Con?
Boston Con is big.
Have you guys been to it?
I personally have not.
No, I haven't been to that one.
It's very similar to going to New York Comic Con, and New York Comic Con is bigger. But I know many people that have been, and it is definitely a convention that if you had to choose between investing in a larger, that entry level large convention, Boston is definitely one of those. You're gonna get a lot of people. There's a lot of fans that go to that. I would say that.
What about that Las Vegas book?
Oh yeah, the Vegas writers. I mean, I don't know. It's a writers thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
Jake, have you been to that in Vegas? We've interviewed some of the writers and actually the organizer that puts together, and we were toying with going there to do interviews. But there's a big writers convention out there. I don't know.
Is that the 20 to 50?
Yeah, that sounds like it. Yep, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's an interesting concept, by the way. Write 20 books to make 50 grand a year. That's what the 20 to 50 is. I've heard of that one. I haven't pulled the trigger on it. You have to remember, I still have a day job.
Yeah.
Yes.
I hear you.
Right.
I hear you.
Oh, they're the day job getting in the way.
Yep. It's that living indoors and eating stuff, It's horrible. I don't know why we have to do that.
I'm still a Latin teacher and a football and lacrosse coach. But that is probably coming to an end in about 12 months. So in terms of cons, I can't clear my schedule. That's the problem. But in the future, that's something that's going to be a research project over the next 12 months, is to figure out where to go, where I think I'm going to get my best bang for the buck. And if it's all right, I'll ask you guys some questions when I get further into it.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, we will stay in touch. We have a very big network of authors that not only have we interviewed, it's got to be about 100, if not more, sci-fi, fantasy authors. We have many authors that we consider very good friends that do the circuits. So we will keep you in mind and reach out to some of them so that they can maybe give you some tips based on their experiences.
That'd be great. That'd be great.
We could do that, no problem.
But so the Halberd books I love, the Fitz-Duncan books I love. I don't dislike any of the books that I've written. I'm fond of all the characters and the settings that I've created. It's just I'm a little more fond of those two.
And they translate. I mean, that's the bottom line. The one way to like put it into a category would be that, you feel that they may translate better. It's not that, like you were saying, it's not that there's favoritism or that you dislike any of your work, but in your mind, it might translate better into the other medium, and there you go.
Well, back in the day, I went to a school, a high school that offered fencing. And I thought, wow, that's cool, fencing, right? But then I learned that there's no banquet table, there's no chandelier, there's no curtain pole. no staircase.
Nope. I took
I'm
a
like,
year.
what the heck?
I took a year
Come
of
on.
fencing, so yeah, I know.
What the heck? Where's the turkey leg that I can throw at the guy?
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
the Olympics are listening, they should be thinking about this. It'd
Of
add a whole
course.
new audience, for
Where's-
fencing.
Where's the
Absolutely.
sombrero? Where's the black mask?
Exactly.
That's right,
Exactly.
Zorro.
And the taunting.
Yes.
So,
Oh yeah, yes, hand in hand.
it's funny listening to Tiny Bean, is it?
Mhm.
Yes.
Earlier, and Gene Wilder and so on. I try to explain this to my students all the time, and we grew up where there were UHF channels,
That's right.
right?
Yes.
And on the weekends, there would be one UHF channel that ran westerns.
Yep.
And there would be another
A
UHF
rifleman.
channel,
Yep.
monster movies.
Yep.
And I'm
Yes.
talking,
The
Bela
thing.
Lugosi,
Yep. Yep.
Cheney monster movies. So when we watch Blazing Saddles or we watch Young Frankenstein, we've got all that context
Right.
that
Right.
makes it so funny. And the kids today just, and I don't mean to slam the younger generation. They have more information at their fingertips than any humans before in history, and they
Correct.
know less.
Yes.
And it's a shame.
Yep.
And they're hungry to know more.
Yeah. I think it's the amount of time and the amount of it's an overload of information.
Yeah. But going back to Blazing Saddles, my favorite line in the whole movie is Mongo just a pawn in life.
Like, Mongo, just a pawn in the game of life.
Yep.
Oh,
Candygram for
boy.
Mongo.
Well,
Candygram for Mongo.
it's been a great interview. Thank you for taking the time out. We'd like to have you back. So
Love
when
it.
you have the next batch or whatever that you have on the way, either on the way to be published or you have it out, whatever the case may be, let's have you come back. We'd love to hear from you again. Open door policy. Jake, thank you so much. I really enjoyed it. I love watching your trailers. And last question is: are your books audio? Are there audio versions, audiobooks?
The three Perseverance Andrews books are available in audio. And none of the others are, and that's just the way it is. And they're done through Podium Audio with a wonderful narrator. And the upcoming book I want to put a plug in for. It's called Rollins Redemption, and this is my first book with a publisher.
Okay.
Athon Books signed me, and I'm very excited to see how the book does. Athon has quite a few really talented authors, and I'm really hoping that by being introduced to their audience, that maybe they have a few coattails.
Not wrong with that.
That'll help pull everything else along. But I'm very excited to see what happens with the upcoming book and the partnership with Athon. And they already have the manuscript for the second book in hand. As soon as they let me know when they plan to release that, I'll give you guys a holler, and we can figure out where to go from there.
Amazing.
That would be fantastic. So the fans, some of them have put up some impressed, proud of you, great job, and the likes. So you're getting some accolades there. And from us, Jake, we wish you upwards and onwards all the best. And so continue the great work, and thank you again for taking the time out. So here's to you.
Well, and thank you very much. And Walete Classes. Farewell, fleet.
Take care.
Excellent. Thank you. Very, very cool. Oh man, that was fun. So, we'll have Jake back, man. That is so cool. Um, and wow, I really, really enjoyed that. That was interesting, right? Someone
Mhm.
that is has our similar background, right? Comes
Yep.
from
Comes-
watching the stuff that we kind of watched as well. That's really a lot of fun. And so tonight, we will follow up, and I know
yes.
we're going to try to keep our eyes and ears peeled with some of our contacts in the publishing and writing business, and see if we can help Jake out with cons and stuff. But we're going to actually dive into Airwolf, one of our many favorite shows that were I was out there for 4
Sorry.
seasons. The beginning was it started out with Jan Michael Vincent and Ernest Borgnine,
Yep.
and they made a really good
And-
team.
Yep. And season 4 switched out to another person.
Yeah, and they did. I'm not sure what happened, but we'll talk about it. So we're going to do the Airwolf stuff, and we'll do a little bit of trivia. And Lola wants to know what the blue neon circle behind you. I will let me just step out so that you can see it for what it is. It was a birthday present from George. George, thank you. And let's see if the camera will focus in on what. There it is. Whoa. No, let me go back this way. More. There it is. It is my very own neon IFB New York Pete, and I'm gonna end up hanging it up on the wall, and hopefully I don't know if you guys will be able to see it because of the way the camera focuses. But thank you for asking, Lola. It's my very own neon sign. So that's what that is. And AJ, thank you for commenting. I did mention that to Jake, the author. And so yeah, let's do a little bit of Airwolf. Chris, I know that you and I haven't really talked too much about Airwolf, but I always, as soon as I could get a patch of the Airwolf patch that they wore on the series. I got one, and I would always put one on one of my jackets.
Yep.
I was a fan. I didn't enjoy the fourth season as much as I did the first three. The
I do
fourth
like
they
Jan
kind of
Michael
changed
Vincent.
it.
Yeah.
They kind of swapped them out, but there's some stuff here that I found that I thought was interesting. So I'm going to throw out the first question, guys, and that is, when did Airwolf debut? So let's see if anybody gets that. I want the year at least on, and don't Google it. Come on, some of you must know. I'd rather you guess than to Google it. Let's see, because I remember that fondly. I was like, oh my god, it's Airwolf. So yeah, come on. Guesses. I'd rather take the guesses. You don't Google it. Let's take some guesses. And so that's the first trivia question. Chris, do you have one?
Yeah, what was the name of Jan Michael Vincent's character?
Oh, that's a great question. Wow, that's a good one. And in the pilot, there's when. Come on. There's the backstory to Airwolf, or Jan Michael Vincent's character. Oh, Sinjin Hawk.
Mm-hmm.
Very good. All right. So, there is. All right. So go ahead, Chris. You want to know what the pilot? Who piloted it? What would you ask? What did you ask?
The name of Jan Michael Vincent's character.
Yeah. Okay. So we got that. Very good. James McCoy gets the gold star on this one. I was okay. So in Airwolf helicopter, how many would actually pilot the actual Airwolf? It's obviously, it's a team. It's a team that pilots Airwolf. How many were there? You guys, come on. I received 100 messages with. Okay, so Lola says 4. Lola says 4. Let's see. Paul says 3. All right, come on. Anybody else? All right, so Lola's 4 and Paul's 3. James says 3. AJ says 1. George says 2. Chris?
I think it's 3.
Because, right? I mean, when you could actually pilot it with what? There's a minimum. We have to have 1 to pilot
There's
it,
a
right?
pilot, co-pilot, and there was a navigator. I think Ernest Borgnine was the navigator.
That's right.
I don't remember the co-pilot, though. Was it the female?
Yes. Yes, that's right. Very good. So, next question is wait a minute. We didn't resolve. Did anybody give us the year? No. Nobody gave us the year. Come on, guys. It was 1984. Actually debuted January 22nd of 1984. How about that? That's pretty interesting. There is, let's see. Oh, anybody know what helicopter it was based on? I even memorized that. I still to this day remember. It's a single word, and it's followed by numbers. And the follow-up is, does anybody know what actually happened to the Airwolf helicopter?
I do.
Oh, James got it. Bell 222. Very good. Excellent. I actually got to see one of those models once and flipped out. I'm like, oh my God, it's I saw it flying. I was like, that's Airwolf. Does anyone know what ended up happening to the actual Airwolf helicopter that was used?
I know.
That's a good,
It's tragic.
Yeah. Well, let's start with, where did it end up? Because it ended up somewhere. No, not Sikorsky.
That was a Bell.
I don't know. Did Sikorsky make the Bell? I don't remember. So I don't know, John. Was it a Sikorsky Bell 222? However, what ended up happening to it? So you guys know it was Jan Michael Vincent and it was Ernest Borgnine, and there were other supporting characters. No, the Air Force did not buy it. They did sell it.
Yep.
And it ended up. Oh man, it's a country overseas.
Yes.
It's a country overseas that ended up buying the actual Airwolf, which is insane. I was like, what? I had no idea. And I found out. Yes, Lola, thank you. I love that you're trying. Thank you so much. All right, so let me give it to you then. Chris, you know the answer, right?
Mm-hmm. Got sold to... Or did we give it up? Oh, I see someone sold to Germany as an ambulance and crashed.
Yes, that's right. John got it. Thank you thank you, Paul. Put up Paul. George thought it was France. No, it was Germany. It was an ambulance. They were using it as a medevac helicopter, and it crashed.
Yeah, they picked up a sick child, and it crashed. Yeah. They got stuck in fog and crashed into a mountainside. Yeah,
and they all died. But it was not the first fatality related to it. No. During the show,
there was a number of helicopter fatalities. I mean, I know there was one.
One of the stunt guys, I think, got killed when they were filming.
One or two. I think it was 2. There's 2 crashes, I believe, in there. Also, there's a crash on on a Glenn Larson show, which was why is it? Magnum PI. They lost a stunt. They lost a helicopter there.
Oh yeah, that's right. I do remember that. Yep, I do remember that. Let's see the tragedies. right? So German charter company used it as an air ambulance. Crashed in '92. Killed the 3 passengers on board. Jan Michael Vincent's stunt double, Reed Rondell, was killed in a crash during the show's run.
Here's a question for you: Who is the legendary, I guess, legendary creator of Airwolf?
Whoa, that's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good one. I have a follow-up too.
Should, Battlestar Galactica fans, we should know who that is. There's a hint for you.
Uh-oh. Come on, guys. We just basically gave it away. Yes, sold to an ambulance. Yes. That's just tragic. However, there is also...
Say it again. Who is the legendary creator of Airwolf? He also created... If you're a Battlestar Galactica fan, you should know who he is.
Come on, guys. Come on. You could do this. You got it. And then there's at least one more.
Nope, not Larson.
That I wanted to...
You're close. Lloyd Larson.
Yeah, he did
make
a
lot of shows.
Yeah, he did.
There you go. George got it. Lola got it. It moved too quick.
Oh, Belisario. Yeah,
Belisario.
That's right. Yep, Belisario.
Belisario directed a number of Battlestar Galactica episodes.
He's very good friends with
He also
Glenn
did
Larson.
Glenn Larson. He also, with Glenn Larson, did Magnum P.I., Quantum Leap.
Right.
Jag? I have to look that one up.
I think he did Jag too.
Jag.
I think so. So what ability, Chris, what ability did Jan Michael Vincent have that impressed Ernest Borgnine, a veteran actor who had been in the business for decades and decades? But Jan Michael Vincent had this one particular I don't know, I guess gift, and it
as an actor.
Yes, well, it factors into to be an no. So it's
his one ability as an actor.
No, not as a person. He had this particular ability, and Ernest Borgnine was super impressed with him. So
in the storyline, or as in real life?
In real life.
Okay. I would be very politically correct with what I'm thinking, so I can't say that out loud.
Okay, so you need to then just
I'm so desperately wanting to do that, and swig has something to do with it, believe it or not.
You should ask Jean-Pierre Dorliac on the show. Mr.
We had him on the show, yes.
We did have him on the show. He came on and gave us some really, really cool insights. It was incredible to have him. He came on first season of IFB. It's up. You can find it if you're patient enough and scroll through. You'll find that Jean-Pierre was a gentleman, a true gentleman. Talked to us all about, reminisced. We had his
really
book.
cool information in regards to the disappearance of the wedding dress.
Yep.
From Battlestar Galactica.
Oh yeah. Fun guy, absolutely. And we were so lucky to have him. And Kim, you got it. That's right. Eidentic memory. He had a photographic memory, and Ernest Borgnine was so impressed that Jan Michael Vincent, all he had to do was look at the page of the script once, and everything was memorized. And then he could just perform. So I thought that was incredible. I did not know that. I never got a chance to meet him. I was a big fan of his work and stuff. Some of my colleagues did get to meet him once while he was traveling and told me some stories. He's supposedly a very nice guy. Unfortunately, his alcoholism got in his way.
That's what happened with between season 3 and 4.
Yeah. So, but there is a comic book series that was released, an
Yep.
official
And
comic
I
book
have
series.
it, but I don't have it available.
There's you have some of those.
It's in my
yeah.
pack. It's in my packed stuff.
It was a good show. Ran for a while, and I just want to let's throw out some of the details, Chris, since we're talking about it.
Mhm.
Let's see. Jan Michael Vincent, Ernest Borgnine, Alex Cord, and Jean Bruce Scott. So, and the composers, right? Sylvester Levy and Udi Harpaz, which and that theme is just it'll stick in
Yeah.
your head. So it's really really good. Let me see. I remember. Oh, so the handler, the character that became the go between for Airwolf missions and the actual missions, right? And there was a whole pretty decent backstory that came out of it, and the idea that I think there was a whole Vietnam link to this, and a brother and stuff, a missing brother, which I thought was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
And so let me see if I can jump right into Dominic Santini, which was the
Right,
owner of Santini Air, right? That's
Yep.
Ernest Borgnine. Yeah. Let me see who else. Oh, okay. So Alex Cord, Michael Goldsmith Briggs III, is the deputy director of CIA division named The Firm, codename Archangel.
Yep.
Boom. Yeah.
Still working on Adam 12. I'm working on getting all the old Adam 12. So if somebody, Airwolf
What are you
Comic
missing?
Quest was.
Are you still missing?
I'm missing a bunch. I have number 1 and number 4, I think. Airwolf Comic Quest was epic. I can't read that. Still working on Adam 12. Yeah. John.
So there was a book. I didn't know there were books. Did you know there were books? 2 books.
I didn't know there's books. I got a ton of old 80s books back here. I've got,
Airwolf and Trouble Within. So there's 2. And then the graphic novel was published in 2015, Airwolf Airstrikes, which recasts Archangel as a woman and Dominic Santini's son, who is black. Okay, which is great. Little, twisted things around, which is great. I don't know, Airwolf Themes, 2 CDs, limited edition came out.
There is some Airwolf fan fiction out there. I don't have any of it, but there is some Airwolf fan fiction online.
There is a Airwolf replica helmet that has been, I guess, licensed. Models. I had a model of Airwolf, so mediocre model.
I did too, but I blew it up with some firecrackers.
Video games. That's really cool. But so there you go, guys. We had a little bit of fun with Airwolf. And that's kind of cool. Something that we want to do regularly here on the show is to continue featuring some of our great
shows,
series, shows. Yep. So thank you for tuning in, guys. This coming weekend is Father's Day.
Yes.
So
Happy Father's Day for those out there who have who are fathers or animal fathers or however they may be. So
yep, that's right. So here's to all of you out there, to all the dads, okay?
And enjoy yourself this weekend.
That's right. So guys, thank you again. And all of you that watch this later on, thanks for tuning in.
Yep.
Hope you had a little bit of fun with Airwolf. Don't forget to give us the likes. Tell your friends about the show. We're hoping to go to a couple of conventions, including Dragon Con, and we're going to go to the Mini Con in Long Island. So whatever conventions you guys are going to, let us know so that we can definitely meet up. We're going to continue making plans. There will be more updates on our websites. So please continue to follow the Stranded Warrior and the Terror Protocol and the Tipsy Toaster IFB,
and
and
continue to write your fan fiction, continue to dream your dreams, continue to think, continue to enjoy your fandoms and create them if you want to.
Yep.
So, we will be back
Cheers
Thursday.
To father and father types.
Yeah. We'll be back next Thursday. 76 cycles till Dragon Con. So we'll be back next Thursday. Well, take care.
Take care. Cheers.